Next habit of highly successful applicants is don't overload yourself. I was just mentioning how I know that life gets overwhelming. Be gentle and compassionate with yourself and respectful of your time. By don't overload yourself, I would say that when you're applying to college or graduate school, it is not the time to start taking on extra responsibilities, extra projects, big initiatives. This is not the time unless you and your consultant have talked about it and you've discussed, you know what, you actually do need some more volunteer work, or I do want to see you take on more projects at work and get a promotion so that we can show that career progression on your resume. Unless it's something that you and your consultant have discussed specifically, the time when you are applying to school is not the time to start putting extra things on your plate. This process can be quite involved, quite intense, and I need you to basically make it a very top priority. It's not the top priority in your life, right? That's going to be your mental health, your physical health, doing well in school if you're still in school, doing well at your job if you're in the workplace. Those are your family, those are your top priorities, right? But I need your application process to be quite high up there with your top priorities. And by making your application a top priority, you really don't have a lot of extra room for new commitments, new projects, new initiatives. You can very quickly get overloaded, overwhelmed, burn out, and also really squeeze out that time and space you need to work on creating an outstanding application. Another habit of highly successful applicants is don't overemphasize the importance of standardized tests. At the Art of Applying, one of my favorite, I guess we'll call it one of my favorite keystone phrases is story over stats. Okay, so statistics matter, your GPA matters, your volunteer work matters, your test scores matter, but your age, those things matter. But you know what matters way more is your story, your personal story, your professional story, your academic story, your career vision, what you're curious about, your values. That matters far more than a number on a test, and even more than your GPA. And so in this application process, please give the test good focus, good attention, but it is not the most important part of your applicant profile. And one of the things that really hurts my heart and hurts my head and hurts your application process is overemphasizing the test. Here's something that I hear often, and I say no when I hear it. And that is, oh, I definitely do want help with my applications. But what I want to do is first really just slay the GMAT, the GRE, or for those of you applying to college, the SAT or the ACT, and then I will work on my essays. And I'm like, 99999. I get so frustrated, I start speaking German. And no, we do not want to overemphasize the test. What happens when you do that, when you're like, oh no, I'm going to get GMAT final, and then I'm going to work on my essays, is that, and I've seen it happen, oh my goodness, I have seen it happen dozens, if not hundreds of times, and sabotage applicants' application processes in that they spend 6 months, 9 months, a year trying to get an amazing score on the standardized tests. And they're just beating themselves up. They're studying a bunch. They're hiring tutors. They're taking classes. They're making some progress, but not as much progress as they would like. And the test is basically defeating them and sapping their spirit, their energy, their time, and their money. And then when it's time to work on the essays, they've given themselves 1 month, 2 months, 3 rushed months to work on the essay. But the essay and your resume and your letters of recommendation that you're going to request and prepare your recommenders really well to write outstanding letters, those are things that you have so much more control over than your performance on a test on a particular afternoon when you may or be feeling not so great or just super anxious. So please do not say to yourself, okay, I am going to first work on the test with hyper focus and singular focus, and then I'm going to work on the rest of the application. Another one of my keystone phrases is success is not sequential. It's a bunch of parallel processes. You're going to be working on studying for the test at the same time as working on supplemental coursework. If there's some courses you're missing that in your profile that we really want to see, at the same time as starting to think about what you're going to write in your essays, even if you aren't drafting yet. Those things are going to be happening in parallel. Success is not sequential. Story over statistics. The next habit of highly successful applicants is to be open to our feedback. And when I say our, I mean people who you have paid to help you at the Art of Applying. So that's your consultant, that's other consultants on the team. You can take any advice or feedback you get from other clients, right? You can take that with a grain of salt and sugar, right? But for the professionals who you have hired to help you through this process, please be open to our feedback. Be coachable. Consider the fact that we have worked with not hundreds of applicants, thousands of applicants, and understand that there are a lot of the same pitfalls and mistakes we've seen applicants make, oversights we see people have in their applicant profile or their essays. So if we're telling you something and we're giving you some advice, it's for a reason. And it's totally okay to push back on the advice or to probe for more information or to even ask for a second opinion. That's okay. We're not here to tiptoe around our feelings. It doesn't hurt our feelings if you probe the advice we're giving you, or if you want to get a second opinion from another consultant. That is totally fine. And we're not always going to have the exact same opinions. But in general, there are quite a few foundational, systematic, habitual, institutionalized methods for success that we have developed at the Art of Applying. And so if we give you feedback, whether it's on a class we want you to take, or some changes we want you to make to your resume, or something we want you to take out of your LinkedIn profile or put on your LinkedIn profile, or a different direction we're encouraging you to consider taking your essay, please be open to that feedback, because it only comes from a place of us doing our best to help you be the most self-expressed version of yourself as possible in your essays, so that when you hit submit, you feel like you have done your very best application you possibly can.